Brother Cannon, since you said earlier that they argued, different people had different versions of who the founders were, how did they finally settle on the founders that we have?
They decided when Wesley history was printed, the founders, as we knew them at that time, were contained in the first edition. Now, later on, I think it was somewhere around it was in the 40s. You know, it's kind of hard to remember some things. I've been in this 72 years, you know. I can't remember all. But when Wesley went to write the history, I went to New York to hunt up Kinkle Jones. He was the National Secretary of the National Urban League. And he was a member of Alpha Alpha. And in some mysterious way, a lot of the Urban League secretaries over the United States were Alpha men, because Jones was an Alpha, see. Well, I saw Jones at one of the L stations in New York. There was a newsstand there, and he was buying a Hershey chocolate and a newspaper at that time. I remember that. So I said to Jones, I said, we're getting ready to write the history of Alpha Phi Alpha. A historian has been appointed. And I am here to ask you to write out your version of it and mail it to Dr. Wesley. Jones was a man who, when he got to be head of the National Urban League, he thought I came there to complain against the secretary that he had sent to Minneapolis, because I had complained to him in a letter. So he said, you write it. Send it to me and I'll correct it. I said, I'm not a historian. He said, well, you write it. I didn't write it. See? And Wesley used the facts that he had and he wrote it. And Martin was declared to be one of the founders instead of Jones. Now, George B. Kelly and and Murray, they actually did know who the founders were. Murray wouldn't agree with Callis because Murray didn't want Poindexter for a founder. See? Well, now, for years, Martin was looked upon as one of the founders. Maceo Smith got to be the national president, and I think he had gotten well acquainted with Jones when he went to Columbia University, and Jones was then not in too good a health, and he's supposed to have had TB. I don't know whether he did or not, but in that convention, it happened to be down in Cleveland. It was the second Cleveland convention, and Wesley was there, and Jones came to that convention. Now, he was a big Urban League man. He didn't have time to come to the conventions prior to that time. You seldom saw him. He was a hard man to talk to after he got authority. And I was really surprised because they had told me that he was this, that, and the other, and he was reputed to have been the first initiate. And that's the way we always considered him. So he stated that he was the founder, and he brought some evidence there. And Wesley and George B. Kelly and I think Maceo, and there was another founder there, I forget which one. They all went into a huddle in the back room, and they came out and recommended that Jones be substituted for Martin. They didn't know where Martin was. He disappeared. Right after the fraternity was formed, he disappeared. and nobody seems to have been able to find him or know what became of him. Henry Lake Dickinson, who was past general president, told me quietly that he defended himself against a white man, and he had to drop out of school. A knife play or something. Now, whether that's so or not, I don't know. But you asked me the question, so I thought I'd tell you. Jones was then substituted as a founder. I was always wondering if he really was a founder, but since Wesley went out there and examined the evidence that was submitted to him, and since a trained historian will only base his conclusions on competent evidence, I wouldn't question it.